Australia will be sending a military aircraft and 85 ADF personnel to the UAE to assist in the defence of Gulf nations that have been attacked by Iran. What's your assessment of this? I mean, we keep hearing from our leaders that we are involved as long as it's part of the defence and not the offensive.
Yeah, I think those comments are a bit silly, frankly. I thought the silliest of them was our Prime Minister Albanese saying that we had three sailors in the submarine which sank that Iranian ship, but they weren't the thing that was offensive towards the Iranians. I mean, come on. It is a conflict. If you're shot down by an Australian missile that we've given to the UAE, well, that's an offensive action. There's no question about that. But I think our government, although it's reluctant to sort of talk honestly about these things, it's made the right decision to send that Australian surveillance aircraft. I would like to have seen it sent a little earlier. I would like to have seen us perhaps be a bit more involved than we have been. I still think there's a case for an Australian Navy ship to be part of an international coalition keeping the Straits of Hormuz open. But although they're late and although they're a bit reluctant to speak in plain terms about it, I think the government's decision this week was the right one.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Shadow Education Minister Julian Leeser has called on the security of the Iranian football team to be removed from Australia. Of course, we know 5 Iranian footballers have been granted visas after they escaped their handlers at a Gold Coast hotel. But there's certainly a lot of questions around their handlers. What's your assessment if these handlers were harassing and intimidating these women right here in Australia?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I have a sense that they were doing that they were clearly sort of regime thugs that came precisely to stop some of the football players from defecting. And it's entirely appropriate that they should now leave the country. In fact, I think they have at this point, Gabriella, and I don't regret that in the least. I just think that's. This is a sample of just how ugly the Iranian regime has become, that they've got to have thugs and minders travel with their sport teams to try and stop them from defecting. And so it's good that our federal police and ASIO found ways to separate the teams, give them the option to make their own minds up about whether they want to stay. Obviously, that's a very difficult decision, having to leave family back in Iran. But I think, again, our government's handled it pretty well, and they seem to have created an opportunity for those who wanted to stay, and for those who should have left, which is the thugs that were kind of surrounding the players, to put them on a plane and get them out of the country.
Yeah, just finally, US intelligence has reportedly intercepted encrypted messages from Tehran revealing that Iran may be activating sleeper cells across the West. The messages reportedly indicate that the sleeper assets in the West may carry out terror attacks. How concerned should we be about this?
Well, Iran does have a big intelligence network around the world. A lot of it is focused on keeping control of, keeping tabs on the Iranian diaspora communities around the world. So I think we should be concerned. We don't know what the content of those messages were, what they were really saying, but I think it does reflect that Iran has a global strategy to try to destabilize democracies, and we need to be alive to that. And even beyond their spies, they will just use their own propaganda to try and radicalize people. And so I think there remains a domestic threat that we need to be conscious of here in Australia, in the United States and other democracies. And if Iran can do damage to those countries, particularly the countries attacking it, that's what it will try to do. So we shouldn't be naive to that risk domestically.
Peter Jennings, Adjunct Fellow at the Institute of Public Affairs in Melbourne and former Deputy Secretary for Strategy in the Defence Department. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate getting your insights and analysis.
Thanks, Gabriella.